The United States makes the UN work when it wants it to work. And that is exactly the way it should be, because the only question for the United States is what's in our national interest.
My name is John, and the International Criminal Court is now in session. It's been a while, folks. My last video was on July 19th, 2023. And to be quite honest with all of you, none of you really have missed anything. At least major. The last video I made in regard to the Ukrainian WAOW offensive hasn't really been too eventful. The lines have largely been stagnant, except for at least one notable thing that did occur in the Lugansk Oblast of Ukraine / Russia. But other than that, the lines have been stagnant. So, video over. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, let's get started. So, let's go to Robotyne. Robotyne is located in this area here. This area. The Ukrainians are trying to seize the village so that they could reach, like, the first line defense here, which is around this area. So if they were to take Robotyne, it gets them a little closer to Tokmak, which would be one of the two major settlements held by Russia within Zaporozhye Oblast, aka Zaporozhye. But so far, a good chunk of this area here is a gray zone, but it continues to remain contested by both the armed forces of Ukraine and Russia. And for all I know, it could be Ukrainian or it could be Russian. Time will tell. But as of right now, everything is like very stagnant in the direction of Robotyne. So yeah, it's a gray zone. So anyway, let's go to Velika Novoselka. This is like the most active part of the front line. And this is where the Ukrainians have had the greatest amount of success in ever since their, ever since the beginning of the counteroffensive on June 4th, 2023. So they're contesting big time for this area here. Apparently the Ukrainians actually seized this village. They're trying to reach Orezine from, I'm trying to think about how do I pronounce this? Samyorske. I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize, but yeah, they're trying. They actually seized control of this village for like one day, but then the next day or so they lost control over half of it. So now, once again, like Pitagaki and Robotyne, it's another gray zone. So they're struggling to seize it from the armed forces of Russia, and the area remains contested as of today's video. So that's that. So anyway, let's go to Kimensky, I think. So apparently Ukrainians have seized a chunk of the town and this area here, which is basically like the eastern portion of it. But otherwise, it's all like positional areas and nothing too major, though they are getting very close to maybe having fire control over this road here, the E105 road, which would lead down to, I guess, at least it's one of the paths to Energodar, and I guess, yeah, maybe Melitopol, but it's still highly contested. So let's move on to Donetsk. There was apparently a small advance by Russia, but it's not by much, honestly. Let's see. I think it's located here, just up north of Mariinka, which is probably the most ruined town in all of Ukraine, besides Artyomovsk Bakhmut. But again, it's all positional stuff. It's not like any major territory was taken, etc. So, yeah, that will do it for that area. So the next place I want to show you all is Avdiivka. Avdiivka did again had some back and forth battles, and Russians did regain the upper hand in the higher ground areas, but still nothing really much going on over there. Nothing. Just absolutely nothing. So yeah. Next up, this is the big one, Kalishka. Also, which is like one of the villages and settlements adjacent to Bakhmut Artyomovsk. So Ukrainians are trying really hard to take back Kalishka, because if they were to retake Kalishka, that would give them like the upper hand in like having like fire control over this road, which is between Bakhmut and Goror or Horlivka. And I think Ukrainians did take the southern part of the town for a while, but then the Russians counterattacked, and they've regained full control over the village again. And Ukrainians have also reportedly got close to also taking Adrivka, but nothing much going on ever since. Again, as I said, it largely stagnated. I'm trying to read like the Syriac maps updates from Telegram. And yeah, to be quite honest with you folks, it's largely stagnant. It's kind of sad if you ask me. But yeah, Russians are really, really holding on to the ground that they do have. And yeah, that will bring us to the Lugansk Oblast. So Russians have gained a little bit of ground here, just north of the Sovetskiy Donets River, which separates the Lugansk and the Donetsk Oblast from each other. So they're getting closer, though this big forested area does make it a lot harder for them to reach that goal. But what everybody in the pro-Russian circles right now are talking about is the big... supposedly, some people even thought it was a big WAOW offensive by Russia, and it would be like the beginning of their quest to retake the left bank of the Oski or Olsko River. So the Russians took control over certain portions. I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to scroll back because I'm trying to figure out what they took. Oh yes, here we go. So the Russians took control of, let's see. I swear, it's here somewhere. But apparently it was around this area here. The Russians took, or retook some areas that they lost back during the September 2022 Kharkov counteroffensive. And I think their goal here, in the long run, is to regain control of the left bank, Olsko River. And I did hear that there were some small advances going on in the Kupiansk front too. Russians are getting ever closer to reaching that town again. And Ukrainians are already spreading fear and panic about the recent advances of the Russian troops there. So much so that they are now getting ready to evacuate any remaining civilian in Kupiansk itself. And yeah. So yeah, the other day, by the way, I heard reports of a drone attack by the armed forces of Ukraine on Moscow. Not in, central Moscow, where the Kremlin is, but I've been hearing reports that they've been attacking, where that big, economic, business center is, with all those nice-looking modern skyscrapers. Apparently, they attacked it, just recently. And I am expecting Russians to respond very viciously. In fact, I would argue that the Russians, since the grain deal expired on the 17th of July, have been much more vicious with their air campaigns. And they also just attacked Dnipro, also known as Dnipro-Petrovsk. They attacked, the state security building in this area here, in the downtown area. And I heard a lot of people were killed. And Zelensky complained about it a lot on his Telegram. But, yeah. So, yeah, folks. Not a lot going on the front line. The WAOW offensive by the armed forces of Ukraine, for now, looks very stagnated. For a lot of people who had been looking forward to it, yeah, it's been quite a big disappointment, to say the least. So yeah, I hope all of you enjoyed this video today, and I'll keep you all updated. Have a good day. Bye.